Hey everybody, what's up? This is going to be an old-fashioned vlog. I've got a lot of things to kind of talk about, and I still have a couple South Tube, Elizabethtown, Chicago videos to post, as well as my half marathon video. I need to get to that. But also the way my channel's going, you know what? I'm going to post stuff when I want to post it and just kind of have some fun. In regards to my channel, there's a bug in my channel. I cannot reply to comments. I can comment and reply to comments on other people's videos, but not my own. It's impossible to find any type of help or anybody to talk to about this, but I did look in their help guide and it's an acknowledged bug that hopefully they'll fix. So until then, I'm trying to reply to comments in a secondary channel that I have called GingerWolf1814. Don't sub to this channel. It was a joke I made last year. I'll make sock accounts not to sub to anybody or anything, but once in a while if I have a stupid discussion in comments, and this one came from Kurt, I think, because of my Halloween costume last year. I was dressed up as Ginger Wolf. So suddenly GingerWolf1814 was born, and I created a channel so I could do a couple comments from GingerWolf1814. So if you get comments from me or from GingerWolf1814, that's who I am. That's my way of replying to you guys. Now the only problem is you can only reply to 3 or 4 comments before you have to put the little code thing in again, so it's totally monotonous. So I'm trying to reply when I can, but the YouTube is not making it easy. It's just comments, people. You know, at least we have the audio preview thing, because we really need that, don't we? Okay, with that said, what I wanted to vlog about, obviously, the election yesterday. What a day. I voted after work. It took me about 40 minutes to vote. There was a line, 40 minutes. I'm amazed at how archaic it is to vote. We still use the equivalent of Sharpie markers. You fill in that line. If somebody hands you a folder and you slide it through a machine when you're done. I've been registered to vote, God, 8 years ago, maybe longer, where I currently live. Because I'm registered, all I have to do is tell them my name and where I live. So that seems weird to me. I mean, when I saw The Lion King at our Performing Arts Center, I needed an ID with my ticket. So it seems a little odd. But anyway, I got to vote and I was proud of it. I was just climbing out of my skin yesterday. I voted for Barack. I haven't really hidden that fact. But wasn't gonna make any wild predictions until it happened. You just never know how these things are gonna go. So I was nervous yesterday. Excuse me. It was really cool. I've talked about this before in regards to Twitter and my traveling for 888 and SouthTube. All throughout the day, I could watch my Twitter friends, people who voted, what the lines were like, what people were saying. It was a really cool way to stay connected with people. This was the first, in my mind, the first election that really embraced the Web 2.0 thing. You know, all the social networking sites. You know, there are people on Facebook that said they voted, or you could tell where they voted. People were getting text messages from the candidates. You know, people were following people's Twitter feeds and whatnot. That was really cool. But for me, the cool aspect of this Web 2.0 election was how tied I felt to my online friends. Now, because I lean to the left, it was cool watching the progress of that. You know, we all want to watch our team win. Last night, I watched the results kind of between the internet, between Yahoo's front page and CNN. I watched the results come in, and I was nervous. You know, it was exciting. I'm in Wisconsin, so I'm in Central Standard Time. It was exciting to see the East Coast results come in, and pretty much by that point things were getting set in stone. They called Wisconsin 15, 20 minutes after the polls closed. Not officially, but they knew Wisconsin was going blue. That was exciting. And you could just see the states coming in kind of like predicted, but I didn't expect it to be the landslide that it was. And then he won. Obama won. And I was in Jeff and Asri Notch's blog TV room co-hosting just for like 15 minutes. I stopped in there. All of a sudden I saw on TV that the results were in. He officially won. And I bolted out of Jeff's room. I mean, it's the quickest I've ever said goodbye to anybody. And I watched the footage. It was really amazing to me seeing, it was almost 250,000 people at Grant Park in Chicago. I was just there a month ago with Andy and Mike. So to me that was extra special. I wish I could have been there. It was a beautiful night here in the Midwest. It was like 73 yesterday in Wisconsin, and I'm 3 hours north of Chicago. So I'd imagine it was a beautiful night there at Grant Park. And to see that sea of people, and for me, this swell of optimism. And that all started, I have to say, with McCain's speech. There was a little booing, when he mentioned Obama, and that was not cool. That was not cool at all. But McCain himself, he tried to reel that in, gave an incredible speech, the speech of his career as far as I'm concerned. I wish, he should have given more speeches like that throughout the campaign. But it was a gracious speech. It was a very historical speech. He did an excellent, excellent job. I will not take that away from him. And then you cut to Barack Obama and his speech. And it was, to me, the speech of my lifetime. It was the best speech that I've heard in my lifetime. It wasn't a rally. He just didn't come out and say, USA, USA. He acknowledged the problems that we're currently having, the hard work we're going to have. He acknowledged the people who didn't vote for him. And he said, you know what? I'm voting for you. Or I'm working for you, too. I'm your president. When he started the story about the 106-year-old woman, the anecdotal story, at first I had a split moment of eye-rolling because I just don't like the anecdotal stuff. He did too much of that in the debates, as far as I'm concerned. But within a split second, I saw what he was doing, talking about this 106-year-old woman and what she's seen. It made me think of my nephews, or what I'll see yet in my lifetime. I hope to live to be 106. Let's say I live to be 80, 87, to do some easy math here. Well, my grandma's 95. So there's a good chance. Both of my other two grandparents who are alive are in their mid-80s. So there's a good chance I live to be 87. Another 50 years of my lifetime, what am I going to see? Like this 106-year-old woman. That moment for me, I'll never forget. But it didn't feel like this rally cry. There wasn't Fleetwood Mac playing. It wasn't just about us, about winning. It was about acknowledging the American people, our pride, the love for this country, and what we need to do to get back in shape. And I have to tell you, I had tears running down my face. It's the proudest I've felt to be an American that I can ever remember. While this is going on, I'm twittering left and right. And the speech is over, and again, just historic, just beautiful. To me, the yes we can feels like the equivalent of I have a dream. It really does. Um, it's that beautiful to me. And when that was all over, I was just a hot mess, is the phrase I always use. I had tears coming down my face. I was just crying. And I just felt like this is the moment. This is what I've been waiting for. I vaguely remember that sense of hope when Clinton and Gore got in. That was the first time I voted back in '92. I was a senior in college. I got a lot of my information at the time from MTV. So they really promoted it like, this is the new generation, this is change. The smell of change is in the air. And I felt that loyalty and that patriotism that I haven't felt since. But what I felt last night, being an adult, being a taxpayer, being much more involved in all of this, understanding the election and the process and all that much more, I felt proud. I was amazed at how beautiful that speech was under that Chicago night, that autumn Chicago skyline. It was stunning. So I'm jumping after this back on Twitter. I was home alone watching this, but I didn't feel alone. I felt like I was watching this with some of my closest friends and just experiencing this. Again, it's with like-minded people. In the past, the last election, I experienced it with one online friend that we chatted back and forth a little bit. But this time around, it's all these people from the West Coast, the East Coast, giving virtual high fives and sharing beers with each other. And then to see in the different cities in the world, or in the United States, that people were saying they could hear cheering in their neighborhoods. To me, that was amazing. So I went outside, and I live in a little town, 2,500 people, dead quiet. I come back in the house, go back on Twitter, and I could imagine the party happening, the celebration happening. And I felt so connected as an American, as a child of the world, really. When you start seeing people from other countries happy for us, seeing people from other countries holding their breath, and this was the decision they wanted to see, and they got it. And I read today, I was so happy to read that, granted there may be a slant from the Associated Press, but they consider Obama, the first kind of world president, that the world has embraced this guy. And I feel like we've already done so much to fix our image, to fix the brand that's America, that I feel like George Bush destroyed. And I couldn't imagine looking at last night, at that speech, at George Bush giving that speech last night. He would have had some honky-tonk music playing, and I get frustrated even thinking about it. So yeah, I woke up today feeling optimistic, feeling proud, feeling patriotic, and feeling like finally, when I question things and when I get upset with the norm and with status quo and the direction that this country's going and the direction that our country was going, alienating the rest of the world from us, and knowing that wasn't the way it had to be, and knowing that we're on a path now to fix that damage and to be the leaders that the world looks at us to be, I am proud. I am proud to be an American. So with that said, I woke up this morning to the news of the yes vote for Prop 8 in California, and for Arizona and Florida, the similar votes, all against gay marriage. That's a black spot on this wonderful day. I don't know how, as a country, we can be so forward, having our first African American president, doing so much for race relations, and yet for gay rights, going so far backward. And I have hope, though. I have hope that maybe finally this country won't be divided by race anymore. And it's frustrating to think, but it seems to me that the gay and lesbian and sexual identity issues, whatever you want to call it, like that's the last set of freedoms that this country needs to fix and to make equal and to make right. And we'll get there, but for now that's frustrating. That's the flaw in the day. That's the scratch on the thing that I'm not happy about, that makes today bittersweet, because I have friends that are affected by this, and I feel bad. And yet, I don't even know who told me this. I think it was Kenergy once said, you know, don't let the happiness of one event, don't take away the pride and the happiness of one event because of the sadness of something else. They have to coexist. So seeing that hope and seeing how hopeful I feel under Barack Obama, I think this country will be a place for the future that some of these injustices that are happening will be fixed. And I guess that's all I want to talk about that, because today I want to talk about hope and my feelings of patriotism. Again, I haven't felt in 15 years. And I always felt odd under the Bush years. That for me, waving a flag and accepting status quo and almost feeling persecuted for my beliefs was considered patriotic. So I'm happy that this change has happened. It was quite a day yesterday, and I hope that you all had the same experience. I'm happy that I experienced this with so many of you online, chatting, in Blog TV, in Stickam, in Twitter, you know, email, whatever. And I said to a friend of mine at lunch yesterday, I said, okay, I'm going to totally sound like a stoner here, but dude, it's happening. It's happening outside. Life, America. Outside, it's America. This is happening right now. This election, these huge issues, it's happening outside in front of us as we speak. History is in the making, and we got to experience this. And what can I say? This is the defining moment of our generation, of my lifetime. And it's pretty freaking awesome. So, thanks for listening. This is a long one, and I'm not going to edit. No, I'm going to render the crap out of this until it fits. So that is all for now. Thanks for listening if you got through this. I'll talk to you later. Bye.